I want to talk about dumpster diving today. Yes, dumpster diving. I am former CIA officer Jason Hanson. I'm the New York Times bestselling author of Spy Secrets Gonna Save Your Life. And the reason I want to talk about dumpster diving is to help you protect your identity, help you be safer, make sure that nobody's gonna steal your information and make your life an absolute nightmare. So when it comes to dumpster diving, and I'm gonna tell you a story. Let's do that. Everybody likes stories. So let's say you are an intelligence officer, okay? Maybe you work for the CIA, the NSA, the DIA. There's several different intelligence organizations in the United States, but let's say you pick whatever one you want, right? You work for this intelligence organization. They send you overseas to gather intel on somebody, right? Well, of course, one of the best ways to gather intelligence information on somebody is to go through their trash. Just like the FBI is going to go through a criminal's trash here in the US to gather intelligence overseas, you're going to go through trash. Now, here in the US, our trash is much nicer. What I mean by that? Well, we put our trash in a bag, most of us do. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, whatever trash day of the week is, you roll your trash out to your curb, it's in the bags, the truck comes along and the arm picks it up, or the guy, if you have a guy that still picks it up, the guy takes a can, throws it in there, and then brings your trash back to the curb and you wheel it back to the front of the house when you go home from work, right? And it's not that disgusting, not that messy. But overseas, it's not always like that. I mean, they don't have the world's most efficient utilities and services and trash removal. So if you're going dumpster diving overseas, because remember, we've already said that you are an intelligence officer looking for some intel, you may be dumpster diving in stuff that has been there for weeks. It may not be in bags. It may be this most disgusting, nasty slop. So you're not just gonna go, peel through there. You're gonna have basically a full hazmat type of suit. You're gonna have gloves. You're gonna look like you're about to go walk on the moon type of thing because it is so nasty. Of course, you've done your recon, you know the area, you're gonna make sure you don't get caught, because if you're walking around in a hazmat suit like you're about to walk on Mars, it's not very good if you get caught. So you're gonna have everything in place where you know it's safe for you to go in on this. As you are kind of rummaging through this disgusting slop, you're clearly looking for intel on this person you're trying to gather on. Now, what kind of intel do we want? Well, obviously anything. But one thing that is very, very useful is health-related information. So maybe they threw out an old bottle of pills and you know they have a heart problem. You know who their doctor is. So you get to the doctor, you may be able to bribe, influence, etc. type of thing. Well, just like information gathered overseas for intelligence purposes on the US can be used against people, can be used to steal their identity, can be used to blackmail them, etc. The same thing can happen here in the US. Whether it's the FBI going through your trash, or whether it's some local criminal who's just looking to steal someone's identity. Well, the easiest way to prevent this problem is get a shredder. I mean, shredders are so cheap. It's not back in the day where you have this gigantic machine. So go to Walmart, go to Amazon, go wherever, and buy a shredder. Buy a quality cross-cut shredder. That way it is cross-cutting, okay? Spend the money, spend a few bucks, the 20 bucks extra or whatever it is these days. I can't remember, I bought my shredder long enough ago. Shred everything that has any personal information on it. So of course, shred all your bills, shred all your medical information. When you go to the pharmacy, when you go to CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, and they fill a prescription, you've got the bag with all that information, make sure and shred that. Do not throw that stuff away. In certain exercises, let's say if I went to most people's house, I would find a ton of information on them because they throw, it's unbelievable. Of course, they're not throwing away their bank statements, most people are, but like I said, the medical stuff and other information that tells me about them. And if you throw away something, maybe your gym membership, well, now I know the gym you go to, I can start piecing together intelligence gathering information. So one, cross-cut shredder. Two, please make sure that you have a credit freeze on your credit with the 3 credit bureaus. So if you accidentally throw something away in your trash that is vital and important, you don't want somebody to be able to go open a bank account, you don't want somebody to be able to go buy a house or buy a car, etc., etc., etc. So a credit freeze is very, very easy to do. I've had one for over 20 years. Back in the day when I did it, you actually had to fill out a bunch of information, you had to mail it in, it was a pain in the butt process. Now, of course, you can do it online. So the 3 credit bureaus, there's TransUnion, there's Equifax, if I can say it right, and there's Experian. You need to go on each individual site and freeze your credit. Once you freeze your credit, they will give you a code. Most of them are like 10-digit codes, and that code is how you unfreeze it. So for example, why do you need to unfreeze your credit? If you go to purchase a car and they try and check your credit to get a car loan, they're gonna say, wait a minute, Mr. Smith, your credit's frozen. We can't check your credit to see what your credit score is. You simply call them or do it online, put in that 10-digit code, and you tell them how long you want to lift your credit. So you can say, hey, for the next 24 hours, lift my credit. That way they can check it for an auto loan, that it automatically goes on. For example, I've been on many, many television shows. I've been on Shark Tank. I've been on many places.
Okay, so this is a zip tie. but not the cheap little ones that can break easily.
You can't get out of this.
Well, I'm going to show you.
They want to check your credit to make sure that what you're telling them is true. Well, when I was going on one of these shows, I forgot to lift my credit freeze, and so they called me and said, hey, we're trying to check your credit. You know, it says there's a freeze on there, can you lift it? So they needed 48 hours, which is no big deal. So I simply called the number, the 800 number, I entered in my 10-digit PIN on it, it lifted the freeze for 48 hours, they could check my credit, and then it went automatically back on. If this sounds hard, I promise you it's not. Every website of every credit bureau walks you pretty much step-by-step idiot proof of how to freeze your credit, and then also how to lift that freeze temporarily or permanently. So in this day and age with cyber attacks, with everything going on where identity is being stolen all the time, please freeze your credit. Please get a crosscut shredder. Don't let me come dumpster diving your house where I can find a bunch of useful information, because you don't want to make it super easy on criminals to find your info, and of course throwing it in the trash is there. So that is my long story of dumpster diving, what you need to do. Again, I am former CIA officer Jason Hanson. If you want to know more information about protecting your privacy, including the most authoritative book on how to protect yourself from the government spying on you and getting your identity stolen, make sure to click below right now. Also like, subscribe, turn on that ring notification, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Please welcome back former CIA officer Jason Hanson.
Former CIA Jason Hanson.
This handsome fella is Jason Hanson.
This is Jason Hanson, former CIA guy.